Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, we're at the home stretch of the enhanced community quarantine, but is it time to end it? Malacanang says the president is looking at all options, including a possible extension. Also, the government is now rushing mega quarantine facilities for COVID-19 patients. Can they meet their target? Presidential Advisor for Flagship Programs and Projects Vince Dizon and architect Dan Lichauco give us the details. And more celebrities are pitching in to help in the crisis. Multi-awarded actress Judy Ann Santos shares her mission for the frontliners. The government may extend the enhanced community quarantine. The country's COVID-19 response chief says this is possible. Secretary Carlito Galvez tells CNN Philippines that the 3-week period of restricted human movement in Luzon has not been enough to stem the disease. But he points out that several factors have to be carefully considered before making a decision.
Most probably on April 12 to 14, there will be the final recommendation. But yes, there is a possibility that it might be extended, considering that the threshold is not yet been achieved. The threshold that we wanted is that we must have the plateau or the flattening of the curve on the different threshold that we are considering. So you can see that in U.S. There's an absurd, and also Singapore, who never had the lockdown. They're now considering the enhanced community quarantine also, because they will be closing shops, and also they're considering to have a skeletal force for the work. So meaning we have to be careful on our decision, because we don't want to rush to normalcy, and then later there will be some sort of the resurging of cases.
On Sunday, Malacanang says that President Rodrigo Duterte is studying all options on the duration of the enhanced community quarantine. The government says that mega quarantine facilities will be ready by April 14. These are the PICC, World Trade Center, Rizal Memorial Sports Complex, Philinvest Tent in Alabang, Duty Free Philippines, and Amoranto Sports Complex in Quezon City, just to name a few. The Philippine Arena in Bulacan, owned by the Iglesia ni Cristo, will also be used for patients in Central Luzon. Let's go straight to the sources of the story. We have Presidential Advisor on Flagship Projects and BCDA President Vince Dizon, and joining him also is architect Dan Lichauco. He's an expert in hospital design and was the architect behind PGH, Medical Facility Hospitals, also including the Medical Facility Hospital in Guam. Gentlemen, good morning to you both and welcome to the show. Let me start with Secretary Vince first. I know you're both there right now at the Rizal complex, specifically the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. Secretary Vince, how's that coming along?
Good morning, Pinky. The facility here in Ninoy Aquino Stadium is already completed. It was started last Wednesday and was completed in just 5 days. As you can see behind me, the hospital beds have already been laid down into the cubicles behind me, and this facility should be ready to accept patients by tomorrow or Wednesday, when the Armed Forces of the Philippines Medical Corps comes in to run the facility and to take care of the patients who will be here.
Secretary Dizon, do you have any idea how many patients will be going there will be housed there? I know there are 120 beds more or less, but when will they start really going there? And are they going to be the PUIs or the PUMs, the patients under investigation or the patients under monitoring?
Yeah. For this facility, Pinky, it's going to house COVID positive patients, but those with mild symptoms. The idea, as I explained last week, is really twofold. We need these quarantine centers, number one, because we want to be able to move COVID positive patients from their communities into facilities such as this. This is what's also being done in other countries as well. But even equally important is we have to help our hospitals decongest and allow more hospital beds to be used by more severe patients with COVID-19. So this facility, along with the other facilities that are going to be built, is geared towards that, to decongest our hospitals and also to move patients from the communities and into facilities like this to control the spread. So we're coordinating with the Department of Health.
Architect Dan?
Hi, Pinky.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Secretary Vince, please go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, we're coordinating with the Department of Health so that they can work with the local government units and the hospitals like PGH, which is very close to this facility, so that when we can ascertain the state of the patients, then the PGH and the DOH can decide whether to bring them to hospital or to bring them to facilities such as this.
Thank you for that, Secretary. Let me now go to Architect Dan. Architect Dan, tell us more about the design. I'm seeing there's a wider view of the Ninoy Aquino Stadium there from your vantage point. Tell us more about the design of this quarantine facility.
Hi, Pinky. First of all, I wanted to say that we're following the World Health Organization guidelines, which were issued in March 2020, and this has become the Bible for most of our design work. So what we tried to do is make sure that it's as comfortable for the patients as possible. If you look behind me, you'll see the tent-like structures. Those are the nurses' stations. The nurses' stations are designed to protect the staff because everybody in this facility will be cohorted. They are actually all COVID positive. And so what happens is you want to make sure that they are visible to the staff. The nurses' station are color-coded so that you know which department or which bed you belong to so that you can go to the same color nurses' station. The stadium itself is ideal because it allows us to provide for more patients and still maintain as close as possible to the World Health Organization guidelines.
Tell us more about how comfortable it will be for the patients over there. I know you've designed hospitals, Architect Dan, but how does this actually compare to the normal or the regular hospitals that we see or we're used to?
Okay, what we did is we tried to make it as comfortable as possible. But just to clarify, we are looking at the development of a network of facilities. This will be for the COVID positive, mild to maybe moderate symptoms. The others might be, we're looking at Rizal now as a step-down facility. That will be for the patients from the hospital so we can decongest the hospitals while they're waiting for them to be negative. And then the other facilities are for people awaiting tests or people with less symptoms. To make this comfortable, we had to make sure that each cubicle has an outlet so they can plug their devices. And there's a nurse call system so that when you switch a light will turn on in the column and you can call the staff in case you're in distress if you need any help.
Is this the kind of facility, Architect Dan, that their loved ones can visit them? Is that even going to be possible?
Unfortunately not, particularly this one. Because if you are confined here, you cannot communicate with your relatives. But we are setting up a visitor station outside so that they can drop off clothes, they can pick up laundry, things like that. But everything will be via, I
I
guess,
see.
to their phones. Yeah, that's why it was important for us to make sure that they could charge their phones while they were
Right.
there.
So this is a quarantine facility that they will be isolated. Let me go back to Secretary Vince. Secretary, it's very important also that we look into not just this one. Again, this is the Ninoy Stadium at the Rizal Complex, but you're looking at other facilities. I want to go to the next one. It's PICC. This will be bigger than the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. If the Ninoy Aquino Stadium has about 120 beds, I believe this has about 300 beds, Secretary Vince?
Yes. Yes, Pinky. So PICC will have 300 beds, and then World Trade Center will even be bigger with 500 plus beds. So between these three facilities, you were actually looking at close to 1,000 beds by the end of this week. So that's the kind of scale we're building right now. And this is really just the beginning because we have to build more. And as you mentioned earlier in the intro, the Philippine Arena will be the biggest one. And we wanted to again thank the INC for allowing us, for offering to use this facility, because that's going to be a mega facility with more than 1,000 beds just in one location. But Pinky, if I may, I just want to add to what Architect Dan talked about earlier on how to make our patients comfortable. First of all, in these facilities, there will be 24/7 medical care given by the medical professionals from the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police. For Ninoy Aquino, the AFP Medical Corps will be taking care of our patients here on a 24/7 basis. Second is there's going to be free food for all our patients and the staff, the nurses and the doctors. Third, the facility is air conditioned and there's circulating air, meaning air does not stay inside. So Architect Dan has worked with the operators of the facility to make sure that air does not stay in, but it's still very comfortable. And finally, as Dan mentioned, apart from the plugs in the cubicles to charge our patients' devices, there is free Wi-Fi for the facility provided by PLDT.
That's one way definitely of making the patients feel a little bit more comfortable having to stay in that quarantine facility. Again, according to Secretary Vince Dizon and Architect Dan, this one where they are right now will be ready by tomorrow, no, Secretary Vince? And then during this week, they are expecting to complete the one in PICC and World Trade Center, which will house more or less 1,000 patients. Secretary Vince Dizon and Architect Dan Lichauco, thank you so much both for your time.
Thank you, Pinky.
Thank you, Pinky.
And coming up, Judy Ann Santos joins the growing list of showbiz personalities who are helping our frontliners. What's her message to our modern-day heroes? She'll tell us live after the break. Celebrities are taking part in the fight against the coronavirus. Local musicians are holding online concerts to pool funds for hospitals and frontliners. Others are donating surgical masks, sourcing tents, and crafting personal protective equipment. But for this veteran and multi-awarded actress, the donation was a little more personal. She prepares meals right in her own kitchen. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have multi-awarded actress Judy Ann Santos. Judy, thank you for your time and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for over.
All right.
Everyone. I'm with my little chickadings for having outside the house.
Yeah, hi! Juday, I know that you were preparing meals, no? But first, before you did that, nag-umpisa ka sa mga face shields, yung mga do-it-yourself face shields. But was this the first thing you did before even venturing into feeding our frontliners?
Yes, yung face shield started with an organization. I was just part of one of the volunteers na gagawa ng they provided us with the materials. They delivered it at home. So sa village namin, we at least have 50 to 60 household making face shields. And then we have a deadline for that. And then bahala na rin sa face shield for frontliners
Yeah.
to distribute shields sa iba't ibang hospitals, private and public hospitals.
Right. And then, Juday, after that, sabi mo, this isn't enough. That's why you thought of sending food over to our frontliners.
I'm sorry.
Ju- Okay, Juday, I said after the face shields, hindi pa to, it wasn't enough for you. Then you decided to cook your own food in your own kitchen to feed the frontliners. I saw your videos on Instagram. It was very, very touching. Can you tell us more about why you thought of this and what pushed you to actually do this?
Basically, we wanted
I'm not sure we're hearing Juday very well, at least from my end. What we're showing you right now, let me just show this to you. Yan yung part na ano na siya, na nasunugan na siya, she got burnt while cooking. You know what, let's do? Let's just try to get Juday on the line so she can explain this to us. This is a video on her Instagram account na yun na nga, nag-decide siya na magluto na lang in her own kitchen. And it's a video. And, very telling to kasi even in the end, ipapakita niya, lalagay niya yung kanin, lalagay niya yung ulam, ipapak niya. Tapos sa dulo, may makikita pa tayo na heart na meron siyang sinabi dyan that, thanking our frontliners for all the work that they do. All right, let's try to get Juday back. Juday, can you hear me?
yes.
I don't think she can hear me. I can't hear Juday. Oh, there you go. All right, we're going to try to get her, I guess, another time, or if we still have time today. So this is where she's actually preparing the food. And this is the part that I really wanted. For those that haven't seen this, you should watch the end of this video wherein she actually has, hindi lang niya niluto. Ayan, yan yung note niya. Sabi niya, sa aming mga frontliners, maraming salamat sa serbisyo. That's how she actually ended this video. I think she's back on the line. Juday, are you there?
Yes, hi. Nawala ako,
Juday,
sorry.
so
Yes.
in-explain ko na lang yung video mo.
Mhm.
Di ba nagluluto ka, tapos medyo napaso ka pa?
Yes, lapitin talaga ako ng paso eh.
How long do you intend to do this, Juday? Yung, feeding the frontliners?
As much as we could. It's mahirap lang on our end kasi syempre the supplies are very limited. So basically we just use whatever we have sobra here at home. Kung ano yung pwede namin i-extend pa. Medyo nakakabili lang kami ng mas malaking volume ng gulay. So mas dinadagdagan lang ng gulay para mas dumami yung mapakain namin. The first batch of frontliners, we gave them to the frontliners here in our village, our security, our maintenance, the militaries who are guarding outside the villages. Yun muna yung inuna namin kasi as it is, it's hard to connect and communicate with our frontliners in some of the hospitals. Yung iba, we send them food through other restaurants kasi it's the easier route to order food for them and mas mabilis.
Mm-mm.
as it is kasi ngayon,
Yeah.
the rules here
Well-
in our place, we can only go out once a day. So we really have to schedule everything accordingly. Hindi, alam niyo yung you really want to help as much as you
Yeah.
could, pero taling-tali yung kamay mo kasi we also follow the regulation of the government to not go out always, yung ganon. So, tapos yun nga, ang hirap kumuha ng supplies, hindi siya ganon kadali. Unlike before, like last time, the recent relief operation for Taal, it was easy for us to send help because mas marami kaming mabibiling supplies, mas marami kaming mapupuntahang mga barangay in Batangas. But now, as much as you really wanted to help people, ang hirap kumilos. But, you know, we get by. We get by with whatever we have here at home.
Do you plan, Juday, on doing something more aside from, that's also something I learned through this whole process. Yung everybody wants to help, di ba? Lahat tayo gusto tumulong. Pero sabi nga nila, kailangan mag-umpisa ka sa pamilya mo, sa staff mo, doon kung saan ka nakatira, tapos pa-expand yung itutulong mo sa kapwa mo. What's the next step for you? Meron pa ba? Kulang, palagay mo ba? May gusto ka pang gawin? Kulang pa yung ginagawa mo ngayon?
Gusto ko pa talaga. But syempre, we also have to consider with everything that's happening around us, hindi mo talaga alam kung saan ka maniniwala eh. Okay ba to give your funds or your donations directly to the hospitals or dadaan sa DOH or hindi mo alam. But, personally, I always help naman as much as possible, as quiet as possible because ayoko siya malagyan ng ibang kulay. And at the same time, gusto mong mas makatulong pa sa mas maraming tao doon sa talagang hindi nararatingan ng tulong. Of course, we really do understand that it's not easy for the government to send help ng mas mabilis sa gusto pa nila, hindi ba? So me as a public figure and at the same time as pasok ko natin as a taxpayer, gusto mong i-extend yung tulong na yon. So what recently what I did now with Judy Ann's Kitchen. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
what
ahead.
I did now with Judy Ann's Kitchen, kasi wala rin kaming trabaho, 'di ba? Lahat kaming mga may gumagawa ng mga pelikula at teleserye. Stop din yung trabaho namin. So, for me to be able to help more, I realized with Judy Ann's Kitchen YouTube channel, so for every episode na panoorin nila, and they do not skip the ads, parts of the proceeds ng Judy Ann's Kitchen will be contributed to the medical supplies and the food for our frontliners. It's just a little way of
right.
extending
Juday,
pa.
Your help. Okay. On a last note, I know that I'm assuming, kasi nakita ko sa Instagram mo na nanood ka nung Palm Sunday Mass ni Pope Francis because I saw it on your Instagram account. Just wanted to bring this in. I know that it touched a lot of us when he said that, look at the real heroes who come to light these days. They are not famous, rich, and successful people. Rather, they are those who are giving themselves in order to serve others. Just on a last note, Juday, what's your message to all our frontliners?
They're doing an amazing job. Beyond pa sa pledge na ginawa nila ng maging frontliners sila. They're doing more. That's what's expected. And siguro mas na-appreciate sila ngayon, pero sana mas noon pa sila na appreciate at nabigyan ng pansin para mas naprotektahan sila. But with our frontliners, Filipinos as it is kasi talagang innate sa atin ang maalaga. Talagang ibibigay nila yung buhay. Ibibigay natin ang buhay natin sa mga kaibigan natin, sa pamilya natin. Kakalimutan mo talaga yung sarili. Sarili mo eh. Yun ang Pilipino eh.
Yes.
siguro that's what sets us apart from other nationalities. You know, we give 150% extra care and love to everyone around us. So I think that is a gift that's been given by God, and at the same time, it is our gift as citizens to also protect our frontliners.
All right. Judy Ann Santos, I want to thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you do things
Thank you
silently
so
and all,
much.
but for engaging us and speaking to us. And the message, Juday, maraming salamat sa'yo.
Thank you
And
so much,
I hope to
Pinky.
speak to you again. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.